Sandy Koufax. It has been misting here much of the morning. Possibility of thunder showers this afternoon. If the game should be called, does it benefit Boston? Does it benefit St. Louis? Does it benefit anybody?
Well, Jim, as far as I'm concerned, I think most of the time the hitters don't like to have that day off, especially if it turns out to be 2 in a row with only the workout yesterday. I think they complain about their timing being off and all the little things I guess that hitters complain about. As far as the pitching goes, I think the managers don't mind it one bit because it gives them a chance to use less pitching or less number of starters, and they can come back with what the man that is number one on their staff.
Does that give Lonborg a chance then to come back
with
more rest?
It gives Lonborg a chance to come back in the 7th game with normal rest, but it also gives Gibson a chance to go in the 6th game with normal rest. So if Gibson has 3 good starts, there's a chance that Lonborg might not get his chance in the 7th game. So it works a little bit both ways. If it goes 7, it gives Boston a little bit of a break because they've got Jim Lonborg ready. If Gibson does a great job in 3 ball games, he may not get his 3rd chance. As far as a wet field, I think it could slow down the St. Louis running game, which might hurt them a little bit.
Well, Sandy, let's look back, and certainly let's look ahead, as we'll return with more of the World Series report right after this message. On Wednesday, you said you're not picking the Cards, you're not picking the Red Sox, you're picking Bob Gibson. While in your absence on Thursday, Tony Koufax said he's not picking either. He was picking Jim Lonborg. Both had great pitching performances.
Well, I'll be honest, Jim, I didn't see the game Thursday, but in looking at the tapes of Jim Lonborg's performance, I thought early in the ball game he had some great plays behind him. It looked like his control wasn't sharp. I know Jerry Adair made a great play on Brock, and later on in the ball game, Rico Petrocelli made just a real fine play on a real hard hit ball that Cepeda hit back through the middle, which, I thought, sort of got him out of trouble a couple of times. But as the ball game went on, I thought he just got better and better. And I thought by the time the, 9th inning came around that he was, pitching a really strong ball game. His control looked like it was good in the tapes, and looked like everybody that hit the ball hit it on the ground. And especially in Boston, if you can make them hit the ball on the ground, you've done a real good job of beating the other ball club. I think in the 9th inning, the second out was Lou Brock, and it looks to me that he just had everybody beating the ball into the ground. They didn't even hit the ball hard. It's just the routine ground ball, the easy 2 or 3 hopper. Gave up 1 hit to Javier, I guess it was in the 8th inning, and he just did a great job. He had to. Cardinals have a good lineup, and the kind of pitching he did, giving up only 1 hit, he had to be, really on top of his game and doing just a great job. Probably the best job he probably did all year, which is a great thing when it comes in the World Series under pressure. It makes him that much more of a pitcher, in my opinion.
But Sandy, looking at the tapes, you remarked at the very beginning that you didn't think that he looked too strong. Now, how can someone, I guess it happens, get stronger?
Well, I think a lot of pitchers do. I didn't say I didn't think he looked strong. I said I thought he looked like he was off in his control a little bit. A couple of balls were up, that were hit where there were a couple of good plays made. But as we watched the tape, he started to make just great pitches. But I think a lot of pitchers go along, and if you don't get them early, in fact, his pitching coach, Sal brush back a hitter. It almost has to be a right-handed pitcher to a right-handed hitter. Brushing back Brock, he has nothing to come back with. He doesn't have the curveball to break away from him. So I don't believe that Lonborg brushed back Brock or anything like that. I think he probably tried to pitch him high inside on that occasion. But I am a firm believer that you have to occasionally brush back a hitter. And
you're talking about arsenal of pitches. Was it in the Sandy Koufax arsenal of pitches that you're liable to put one in here on someone?
I think you definitely have to pitch high and tight and low and away, which is the standard thing that everybody talks about. But to make the pitch low outside more effective, I think a pitcher has to pitch high and inside occasionally. There's a difference between the brush back and the knockdown.
Did it surprise you at all that Curt Flood would make a statement to the press? I mean, who knows, but he said it was Busch. Curt's been around a long while.
Yes, he has. It comes as a little bit of a surprise to me. But you never know. Sometimes after a ball game, somebody has a little bit of a temper, and you say something that you wish 5 minutes later that you hadn't said.
Well, let us look ahead now, and we'll keep this little controversy in the back of our mind. We've got to look to today's 3rd game, and we will on World Series Report after this message. Sandy, the series is only 2 games old. Is it too old for a trend? Have you noticed a trend at all?
Well, with 2 games being played and one team winning each one, it's pretty hard to say that there's a trend or anything like that. The only thing that's happened is now boiled down to almost a best 3 out of 5 World Series, except that Cardinals have an edge, the fact that the 3 out of the next 5 are played in their home park. I mean, the first 3. As far as trends go, I think the biggest trend that I've seen is the fact that for the Cardinals, unless Lou Brock gets on, and it's not only in the World Series, it seems like he is their big man. He scores runs. He gets on and demoralizes a pitcher, and they score. For Boston, Carl Yastrzemski. Carl's just a great hitter. He had a great year. He had a super last 2 weeks of the season. The first game of the series, he didn't get any hits. They didn't score too many runs. In the second game, he had 2 home runs. He got a 3rd hit. Drove in 4 out of the Boston runs. He had a great day. In the first game, he had a fine day defensively, but he, as good a job as he does defensively, that's just an added bonus. He has to hit. The defensive job means that they got beat 2-1 instead of 3 or 4-1. He has to hit. He has to drive in runs for them to win ball games.
And, of course, pitching is the name of the game. Bob Gibson showed that Wednesday, and Jim Lonborg on Thursday. But today's pitchers, Nelson Briles of the Cardinals and Gary Bell of Boston.
Well, I don't think they'll be nearly as dominant as Gibson or Lonborg. It's hard to say. They may pitch very well, but they don't have the kind of stuff that these 2 guys have. They will not, I think, dominate a ball game, but they're both capable of pitching very fine ball games.
What kind of pitchers are they?
Briles has good breaking stuff. He has a good slider and a good curveball, and has a pretty good fastball, but he has good control. He's been a relief pitcher most of his career. Most relief pitchers do have good control. They come in situations with men on base all the time, and they're used to that. Bell is sort of the same way. He started a few years ago as a starting pitcher, but in the last few years with the clubs he's been a relief pitcher. He has the good breaking pitch. He has the good curveball. He's been accused of throwing a fastball sometimes that people might say is a little bit like the weather. It's a little damp out.
I mean, he throws the spitters, what you're saying.
Well, no, I don't know. He's been accused of it. A lot of people have in the last 2 years.
Have you ever been accused of throwing a spitter?
I've been accused of it.
Look, we talked in Boston, Sandy, about that short left field fence and what it would do to the Cardinals, and the Red Sox know how to play it. This is a big and beautiful stadium out here. Whom does this stadium favor?
Well, I think this ballpark has to favor St. Louis a little bit.
Why?
They don't have an awful lot of home run hitters. I think everybody on the ball club is capable of hitting the ball out. They've got the singles hitters, and they've got great speed. And this is the kind of ballpark where there's a big outfield and plenty of room for line drives. Yastrzemski, I think he's the key man for Boston here and in almost any other park they would play in, but he has to hit here for them to score runs.
Well, you gave me a whale of a prediction on Wednesday. I'm going to ask you another one today, okay? We'll be back with that in a moment on World Series Report. There's still a possibility of rain, Sandy, but maybe it will not affect the game. Let's hope not. But if they play on Wednesday in Boston, you said, I don't pick the Cards, I don't pick the Red Sox, I pick Bob Gibson. How about a definite prediction right now?
Well, I don't think I can be as definite today. I'm going to pick the Cardinals, but with a condition. I think it's up to Briles to get Yastrzemski out. If Briles can handle Yastrzemski, which is no easy job, I would pick the Cardinals. But it's on that basis.
All right. If Briles can handle Yastrzemski, you pick the Cardinals, and we'll see you tomorrow before the 4th World Series game. Jim Simpson with Sandy Koufax. Stay tuned for the 3rd game of the 1967 World Series after station identification.
The 1967 World Series. The St. Louis Cardinals versus the Boston Red Sox. Brought to you by the Gillette Techmatic Razor. Ask your face about it. To Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis for the 3rd game of the 1967 World Series. Hi, everybody. I'm Curt Gowdy of the NBC Sports Department. Harry Caray for 22 years, the voice of the St. Louis Cardinals, and this morning it did not look like we were going to play Game 3. It rained, foggy all last night. You couldn't see across the street this morning here in St. Louis, but we received a marvelous break. The sun is out, and we were going to have 2 right-handers, Gary Bell going against Nelson Briles. And incidentally, the outfield grass and the infield grass will probably be treacherous today and could provide some of the breaks in the ball game. Well, Harry Caray, you're back home now, and the Cardinals are here to open their homestand of the World Series.
Thank you very much, Curt. Yes, we are home, but a strange thing about it, the St. Louis Cardinals actually won more games on the road this past season than they did at home. 52 of their victories were on the road and 49 at home. This is a ballpark that is no particular advantage for either team. It's a big ballpark, but it's a park that you can't hit home runs in. And of course, already, Curt, we've had two beautifully pitched ball games, one by Bob Gibson for St. Louis, the other one by Jim Lonborg for the Red Sox, and one guy who everybody wondered what he'd do in this World Series, Carl Yastrzemski, has already stood out. He kept the Red Sox in the first game with his arm and his fielding defensive ability, and he actually won the second game with his home run hitting. So Yastrzemski now has proved it all, and the Cardinals realize as they return home in the first of a segment of 3 games here at Busch Memorial Stadium, Curt, they know that they're going to have to stop Carl Yastrzemski. And Nelson Briles has been well pumped up with information from scouting reports as to how you pitch to Yastrzemski. But I suppose it's much easier to write reports, Curt, about a hitter like Yastrzemski than to actually get him out.
Everybody's discovered that all year. And incidentally, Harry, the manager of the Red Sox, Dick Williams, thought before the series that it would be a hitting series, that hitting would decide it. Now he says he's changed his mind. It's going to be a pitching series.
You know, your pitching, the Red Sox pitching, Curt, has held the middle of the Cardinal lineup to just one little single in 20 times at bat. Compositely speaking, I'm referring to Maris, Cepeda, and McCarver.
All right, Harry, now we have a beautiful new stadium here, and why don't you take the fans around and describe this ballpark to them?
All right, let's start down here in the left field corner, where you see Gary Bell getting ready. It's 330 feet down the left field line. There's a stadium club above it. Cepeda's hit him over the stadium club. Out in left center, in the power alleys, in left center it's 386 feet. In center field it's 414 feet. And home runs have been hit in that section too, by the way. Henry Aaron of Atlanta's done it, Willie McCovey of the Giants, and Orlando Cepeda of the Cardinals. In right center, as in left center, it's 386 feet. And then we come around to the right field line, 330 feet. There you see Nelson Briles of Chico, California, getting ready in the right field bullpen. The crowd is gathering a little more slowly than you would anticipate, with the game only 10 minutes away. But there will be 53,000 people here, Curt. It'll be a sellout. There'll be standing room only. And it has turned out, I guess it's NBC's luck to come up with this beautiful day after it looked so threatening all day long.
Well, let's call it the luck of the nation. And right now, let's take a look at the starting pitchers. 2 right-handers going. Gary Bell from San Antonio, Texas. He won 13 and lost 13 this year, an earned run average of 3.30. He was acquired by the Red Sox in a trade for Tony Horton and Don Demeter in June, and did a good job for the Red Sox the rest of the season. Gary Bell going today for the Red Sox. And here's a fella, Nelson Briles, who stepped into the starting spot of Bob Gibson after Gibson broke his leg and won 10 and lost 2 as a starter, overall winning 14 and losing 5. So there they are, Briles against Bell, Game 3 of the World Series. And now we're going to meet the starting lineups and the coaches and squads of both teams.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Here are the lineups for Game 3 of the 1967 World Series. First, the Boston Red Sox, and here is the manager of the Red Sox, Dick Williams. Batting first and playing right field, number 12, Jose Tartabull. Batting second and playing third base, number 3, Dalton Jones. Batting third and playing left field, number 8, Carl Yastrzemski. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 5, George Scott. Batting fifth and playing center field, number 7, Reggie Smith. Batting sixth and playing second base, number 14, Jerry Adair. Batting seventh and playing shortstop, number 6, Rico Petroselli. Batting eighth and catching, number 18, Elston Howard. Batting ninth and pitching, number 39, Gary Bell, who is warming up in the bullpen. And here are the remaining players and coaches of the Boston Red Sox.
And there's the batting order for the Boston Red Sox.
And now for the St. Louis Cardinals, here is manager Red Sox. Batting first and playing left field, number 20, Lou Brock. Batting second and playing center field, number 21, Curt Flood. Batting third and playing right field, number 9, Roger Maris. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 30, Orlando Cepeda. Batting fifth and catching, number 15, Tim McCarver. Batting sixth and playing third base, number 18, Mike Shannon. Batting seventh and playing second base, number 25, Julian Javier. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, number 27, Dal Maxville. Batting ninth and pitching, number 34, Nelson Briles, who is warming up in the bullpen. And here are the remaining players and coaches of the St. Louis Cardinals.
And there's the batting order for the Cardinals.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem, which will be played by Guy Lombardo and his band, and will be sung by Gerald Hutton, who is a teacher in the St. Louis Public Schools.
7 World Series being brought to you from Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis as the Boston Red Sox meet the St. Louis Cardinals. Here are the umpires. They're meeting at home plate right now with managers Williams and Shanedine. Frank Umont behind the plate. He's from the American League. Augie Donatelli, the National League, at first. Ed Runge of the American League at second. Paul Pryor of the National League umpiring at third. Taking care of the left field foul line of the American League, Johnny Stevens, and the right field foul line will be umpired by Al Farley. Dick Williams is on your left, and Red Shanedine was on your right. And the honor of throwing the first ball today goes to a young fella named Clint Betts, who is the United Fund poster boy. There it is. Clint Betts, St. Louis United Fund poster boy. Frankie Frisch, the old Fordham Flash, who managed the Gas House Gang back here in 1934, will throw out the first ball tomorrow, and Billy Southworth, the former manager of the Cardinals, will have the honor of doing that on Monday. And there go the Cardinals on the field. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WLBT Channel 3, Jackson.
Curt Gowdy and Harry Caray here in St. Louis. Nelson Briles making his way to the mound, and Harry Caray will tell you all about him.
Nelson Briles is 5'11", 195 pounds, just 24 years old. With a record of 14-5 for the season, became a starting pitcher for the first time as a result of the injury to Bob Gibson. And he did just an absolutely fantastic job. He ended the season with a 9-game winning streak. He led the National League in percentage in 1967 with his 14-5 record, which works out to a 7.37 mark. And in 1966, his won and loss was just the opposite. He won 4 and lost 15. So you see what a come-about he did and the difference between relieving for this boy and starting. He had a 7-3 record at home, 7-2 record on the road. He's a fastball pitcher primarily, Curt. He's got a good breaking ball. Some days his curveball really explodes. He has a tendency every now and then to hang the curve, but that happens to all pitchers, no matter how great they are. So I think he'll be a worthy adversary for the Boston Red Sox, and I know that Gary Bell, working for Boston, will be likewise for the St. Louis Cardinals. But I would say there's a real similarity in styles, Curt, because Gary Bell is primarily a fastball and curveball pitcher also.
All right, Harry, let's take a look at the coaches. Bobby Doerr, who played in the 46 World Series for the Red Sox against the Cardinals, coaching at first for Boston, and Eddie Popowski is the third base coach. And Jose Tartabull is going to start it off. He'll be followed by Dalton Jones and Carl Yastrzemski. The first 3 men up for the Red Sox are left-handed batters. Tartabull has had 0 for 4 in the series. Hit .224 on the season. And they're playing into the opposite field, with the third baseman, Mike Shannon, shortened up in case of a bunt. Tartabull is very fast, and the infield's in a step or two on him. And he hits a ground ball to second baseman Javier. Out number 1 in the first pitch of the ball game. Dalton Jones from Baton Rouge, Louisiana up now. 23-year-old veteran, you could say, 5 years in the big leagues. He's had 3 hits in this series and 9 times up and hit .289 during the year. A line drive style hitter. He'll spray that ball around for you. A ball. We've noticed the Cardinals during the series so far have played many of the Red Sox hitters to the opposite field. Right now, Curt Flood's a step or two over in left center. 1 out, nobody on. We're in the first inning. Going after that inside pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike to Dalton Jones. This park, a little more emphasis here now on speed and defense than we had at Fenway Park. A beautiful stadium. Nelson Briles, working out of the no wind-up delivery, is in there with a strike, 1 and 2. Incidentally, Briles is some kind of a fellow off the field. He speaks 2 or 3 languages. He's a part-time actor. He has a pair of twin brothers out in Chico, California, who have a professional combo outfit. Struck him out on a curveball. 2 up and 2 down for the Red Sox. And Carl Yastrzemski coming up.
Curt, I think he'd gladly trade you all those other talents for that curveball he just threw to Dalton Jones. He really broke one off.
Well, we're going to see now how they pitch Yastrzemski. They were trying to jam him at Fenway Park, and it didn't work on Thursday. They may try and pitch him outside here. They're playing Yastrzemski as a pull hitter. And down he goes. He's hit. They jammed him all right. We had a few of the Cardinals go down on Thursday. Lombard set them down. And a couple of Cardinals were telling me yesterday when they worked out, we've got both short memories and long memories.
What I said earlier still goes. I have a feeling this is going to be a tremendous series. It could very easily go all 7 games, Curt.
Yastrzemski on first, 2 down. And George Scott is up. And Dick Williams now is out talking with the home plate umpire, Frank Umont. Just out of your picture right now. And he may be saying something about the pitch to Yastrzemski. Now Red Sox is being called. Now Umont calls Williams back, and the two managers now are meeting behind the plate. I'm pretty sure this is what this is all about.
Yeah, I know that Dick Williams and Red Sox don't need any introduction to each other, Curt, so it has to have something to do with the pitch that found Carl Yastrzemski being hit in the leg. And Red Sox now, you would like to lip read, let's do so.
I think he may be saying, well, I saw some of my boys go down Thursday.
The hardest thing in the world to tell, Curt, is when somebody is deliberately throwing. Now, the pitch was low and at the feet of Yastrzemski. The crowd is in a little impatient mode, and whatever went on between Frank Umont, Dick Williams, and Red Sox has now transpired.
This 1967 World Series telecast comes to you from Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, live in color, exclusively on NBC. George Scott of Greenville, Mississippi up. Had an outstanding second year in the Major League. Hitting .308. Finished fourth in batting. There goes Yastrzemski after McCarver boxed the ball, and Yastrzemski's out. Was the shortstop Maxwell taking the pitch. They'll score that one, catcher to shortstop. And the Red Sox are all out in the top of the first. No runs, no hits. There were no errors and nobody left. In the middle of the first inning, the score, the Red Sox nothing, and the Cardinals coming to bat. Baseball, Commissioner Joe Eckert. Bidding welcome to the fans here in Busch Memorial Stadium, and also to you fans not only across America, but in Canada, Mexico, in 15 countries. And the Cardinals coming up in the last of the first inning will have Lou Brock, Curt Flood, and Roger Maris. Lou Brock has the most base hits in this series so far. He got 4 in the opening game. He's 4 out of 8. In fact, 2 players have accounted for 7 of the 11 hits the Cardinals have. That's Brock and Javier. Gary Bell pitching to Lou Brock. A little gap out of the left center against him. Yastrzemski plays him straight away and left, and the rest of the outfield swung toward right. Bell starts him off with a curveball for a strike. The coaches, Dick Sisler at first base for the Cardinals, and Joe Schultz at third. Brock lines it out to left. Yastrzemski going after that. It'll be over his head in the gap. Brock may go for 3. He's coming on, and he's in with a triple.
It looked like he hit a curveball, and he hit it perfectly into the gap in left center. I just started to mention that Reggie Smith is playing these hitters extremely shallow. I notice he is for Flood, too. This is a pretty spacious ballpark. He's going to have a lot of room to cover.
All right, Harry, Curt Flood's up now. 1 hit so far in the series, 8 times. Hit .335 during the season. The infield's back with a runner on third, nobody out. Ball 1 to him. Lou Brock hit 12 triples during the season. Vada Pinson led the National League with 13. Well, that's not bad for a leadoff man to get yourself over to third with nobody out.
He hit 21 homers and drove in 76 runs.
1 ball, no strikes to Curt Flood. Playing him straight away. There's a shot in the left center. That's a base hit. Broxton to score. Smith up. Fires into Petrocelli. And the Cardinals lead 1-0. A left-handed batter now, Roger Maris. Orlando Cepeda's on deck. Gary Bell has been stung twice in a row by Brock and Flood. Let's see what Maris does. Maris has had 1 hit in the series, 7 times up. He has knocked in all the Cardinal runs in this series. 2. Except for the one we have Flood just driving in. So he's hit 2 out of the 3. They're playing Maris with a dead pull hitter to right. To the mound. It's to Petroselli for one. Over to first. They've got the double play. Pitcher to short to first. Bell to Petroselli to Scott. 2 down now. Nobody on. Orlando Cepeda looking for his first base hit in this series. And up 7 times, no hits. He was in a slump at the end of the regular season, wasn't he, Harry?
Yes, the last 2 weeks, it seemed like as soon as the Cardinals clinched the pennant, he suffered a little bit of a letdown, and he hasn't quite recovered from it.
Cepeda led the National League in RBIs, 111. And is almost a cinch to be elected the National League's most valuable player. Reggie Smith is playing him into right center. He hits a lot to right center. Ball 1 to him.
Most of the home runs he hit this season were on the road, by the way, Curt.
2 down, nobody on. The Cardinals have a run in. They're ahead 1-0, last of the first inning. The 1-0 pitch. Curve is inside, ball 2. 2-0. The Cha-Cha, as they call him here. Orlando Cepeda. Gary Bell, born and still lives in San Antonio. He'll be 30 years old next month. Three and nothing.
Many times during the regular season, Curt, Cepeda would be permitted to swing at a 3-0 pitch.
Now let's see what he does now. 3-0 to him. 2 down, bases empty. Three and 1 now. Gary Bell had won 1 and lost 5 for Cleveland. When he was traded on to the Red Sox, he won 12 and lost 8 in a Red Sox uniform. He's always been a hard thrower. He's averaged a little over 6 strikeouts for every 9 innings he's pitched in the major leagues. 3-1 pitch. A high fly. No pop going back. Dalton Jones over in foul ground. And that's all for the Cardinals in the last of the first. But they got 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors and nobody left. At the end of the first inning, the score: the Cardinals 1 and the Red Sox 0. Besides bringing you Major League Baseball's World Series plus American Football League action every Sunday, NBC telecasts the tops in postseason football with the American Football League Championship game and the All-Star game, and the best of postseason college games like the Senior Bowl, the East-West game, and that New Year's Day triple-header, the Sugar Bowl, the Rose Bowl, and the Orange Bowl. Live and in color, NBC. George Scott leading off, followed by Reggie Smith, Jerry Adair. Scott was at the plate when Yastrzemski was thrown out trying to go down in the first. Scott's had 3 hits. Slams it off the pitcher's glove. Over for it is Javier. His throw in time to just got it. Very close play.
Let's watch this again. Watch the ball hit Briles off the hip. And now the recovery by Javier. Now watch this. Beautifully done. He does his play so well.
I don't know, Harry. How'd you like to call that one?
Bobby Doerr is talking to Augie Donatelli down there about it at that. They just had him.
One of those real bang-bang plays at first. Reggie Smith up, switch hitter. 1 hit in 6 times. That's Dick Williams, who came out on the field. This is his 2nd appearance in this 3rd World Series game, making his way back to the Red Sox dugout.
You know, Dick was born and raised, spent his early years in St. Louis, Curt. I guess a little nostalgia caused him to come out here a little more frequently than usual.
The Cardinals are leading 1-0. We're in the top of the 2nd. Red Sox have 1 out, nobody on. Reggie Smith up from Los Angeles, California. Ball 1 to him. Jerry Adair is on deck. Reggie's only 22 years old. He should have quite a future ahead of him. He won the International League batting title last year. Started the season playing second base. Mike Andrews had a bad back, and he went back to his natural position in the outfield. That one is really tagged, but it's a foul ball in the third tier here at Busch Memorial Stadium. 1 ball, 1 strike to Reggie Smith.
And the Spectator made the best play of the day so far.
The Cardinal outfield playing him deep. Curve is inside, ball 2. 2-1 to Smith. Smith can go down that line, too. You have to get rid of that ball in a hurry in the infield against him. 2-1 pitch. 3-1 now. Delivery, a strike in that inside corner. The official scores today, Bob Addy of the Washington Post. He's the president of the Baseball Writers Association. Larry Claflin of the Boston Record American, and Neil Russo of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. It is a committee of scoring. And it's very interesting. They were all telling me that with that no-hitter going on Thursday, they weren't facing the late innings with any enthusiasm. There's a great stab by Mike Shannon on that soft liner. 2 down. You saw Shannon time his leap just right. He didn't go up too soon. Jerry Adair up for the Red Sox now. He's had 2 hits in 8 times. During the year he hit 266, but he hit over 290 in a Red Sox uniform. Cardinals are ahead 1-0 in the top of the second. Breaking pitch outside, ball 1. And the official scoring, Bob Addy is really the chief scorer. Claflin and Russo will each give an opinion. If, we'll say, Claflin calls something a hit and Russo an error, then it's up to Addy to come in and settle it, and his decision then will give the official scoring for the game. So they're sort of a committee in doing it.
He's a head arbitrator.
Outside again to him, 2-0 to Jerry Adair. Rico Petrocelli on deck. The Sox are batting in the second, 2 down, nobody on, and there's Rico. Briles' 2-0 pitch is drilled down to third baseman Shannon. Strong arm of his over to first, and the Red Sox are down 1-2-3 in the second. So in the middle of the second, the score. St. Louis Cardinals 1 and the Boston Red Sox 0. Mr. Baseball, General William Eckert. He's seated right over there by the Cardinal dugout, and the Cardinals in the last of the second will have McCarver, Shannon, and Javiera. So far, they've stopped McCarver. He's had no hits in 6 times. He was the star for the Cardinals in the '64 World Series. He hit safely in every one of those 7 games between the Cardinals and the Yankees. Clay McCarver is a pull hitter. Bells in with the first strike. Red Schoendienst admits he's a little worried about his club's hitting. He said, Cepeda and McCarver have to get going for us. Neither one's had a hit yet. A 0-1 pitch. Strike 2. That one took the outside corner. No balls, 2 strikes. Carver hit .295 during the year. 14 homers. And as a catcher, he stole 8 bases. The 2-strike pitch to him. 1-2 now. Cardinals have 1 run, 2 hits. The Red Sox, no runs, no hits. 1-2 delivery. Curves him, but it's too tight, and the count is 2-2. Dick Williams is going to stay with a three-man pitching rotation. Santiago, Lomborg, and Bell. The 2-2 delivery. Hard ground ball by Petrocelli into center field. Reggie Smith up with it. Well, the Cardinals' leadoff batter in each inning has been on. That's the third hit for St. Louis. And Mike Shannon is up now. Shannon's had 2 hits in 7 times in the series. This season, he hit .245. He lives about 30 miles from St. Louis. As soon as this series is over, he says he's going hunting. He loves to quail shoot. Play him straight away. There's a long drive to deep left. That ball is tagged. It is gone, a home run. Bell hung a curveball right over the plate for Shannon. Shannon hit only 4 home runs here all year during the regular season. And now the Cardinals are out in front 3-0. Javier's up, nobody on, nobody out. Drive in the left center. That's a base hit in the gap. Yastrzemski nearly fell down. Goes to second, and he's got him as Javier tried to go for 2. Carl Yastrzemski making another beautiful fielding play. As we told you, the grass is treacherous for the all-night rain, and watch it here coming up.
And watch the play that Yastrzemski makes now, because he's off balance as he fields his ball. See that? And right on the button he throws, and there's no doubt about Javier being out.
Well, Harry, now you can see why they've been calling him one of the best defensive left fielders in years in the major league.
Hey, he does everything. I'd like to make a comparison between Yastrzemski and Stan Musial. He reminds me so much of Stan.
Who was Yastrzemski's idol.
Is that so?
That's right. 1 out, nobody on. Foul ball by Del Maxwell. Carl was saying today that he's Polish, so is Stan Musial, and that he was always my idol.
He picked on a good one, and boy, I tell you, he's a tremendous ball player, this Yastrzemski.
Now the Cardinals have had 3 hits this inning. They're leading 3-0. There's 1 out, nobody on. There's a pop twisting toward the seats and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to Del Maxwell. He's had no hits in 4 times in the series. Hit .227 on the year. Two-strike count. Curve is over for strike 3. First strikeout for Gary Bell. That makes it 2 down for the Cardinals. And brings up Nelson Briles. Kind of a hitting pitcher is he, Harry?
He gets his hits, but I wouldn't call him a good hitting pitcher at all, Curt. He doesn't challenge that pitch too much, but he will poke a single here and there.
Nelson Briles up. It's a ground ball to the right side. Adair up with it. And that's all for the Cardinals. They had 2 runs in the second, 3 hits, no Red Sox errors, and no one left. So at the end of the second inning, the score is the Cardinals 3 and the Red Sox nothing. With Bob's special guests, Debbie Reynolds, Steve Lawrence, and Edie Gourmet. There will be music, fun, and laughter Monday, October 16th, right here on NBC. The bottom third of the Red Sox order's up in the top of the 3rd inning. Petrocelli, Howard, and Bell. Petrocelli's had 1 hit in 5 times so far. Rico hit .259 during the year. And some power for an infielder, 17 homers. They play him straight away. Nelson Briles on the mound for the Cardinals. Carmichael, California. There's a high fly ball out to Lou Brock. One away. Top of the third. Elston Howard, who was born in St. Louis, playing in his 50th World Series game today. He's had no hits in 3 times. He hit 180 for the year combined with the Yankees and Red Sox. Cardinals had 3 runs, 5 hits. The Red Sox, no runs, no hits. Howard being played to the opposite field. A strike on a fastball. They're going to pinch hit for Gary Bell. George Thomas has come out on deck. Ball 1, strike 1. We'll have a new Boston pitcher in the last of the third. Curve just misses. 2-1 to Elston Howard. George Thomas on deck. The 2-1 pitch. Drilled down the first base line for a base hit. Roger Maris up with it will hold Howard to a single. There's the first Red Sox hit. And George Thomas will bat for Gary Bell. Thomas hit .205, 1 home run during the year. And a utility player. Jose Tartabull on deck. Cardinals 3, Red Sox nothing, top of the third. The Red Sox are warming up Gary Wozlewski. He'll come in to pitch in the last of the third. A little bit high to him for a ball. One ball, no strikes. One out, Elston Howard at first. Foul back in the count, 1-1. Nelson Briles really stepped into a breach for the Cardinals. Bob Gibson broke his leg in July. They brought Briles out of the bullpen. He lost 2 of his first 3 as a starter and then ripped off a winning streak that he wound up as a starter, 10 wins and 2 losses. And won 9 in a row. His fastball is good. 1-2. Last time Briles lost the game was on August 1st at Chicago, 3-2. He's been a winning pitcher for over 2 months now. Howard at first, one out. A 1-2 pitch. Nearly a wild pitch. A good save by McCarver, who can handle that mitt behind the plate. Very agile. He's quick. Doesn't have a powerful throwing arm, but an accurate one, and gets the ball away quickly. A 2-2 count to pinch batter George Thomas. Elston Howard at first. You'll notice the Peta playing off the bag. The Cardinals are ahead 3-0. Three and two now. Neither team took batting practice today. With the rain this morning and the fog, they left the tarp on to be sure that in case the weather broke, which it had, that they'd have a decent infield. So neither club took batting practice. 3-2 the count. Howard is not going. Lucky for him that he wasn't. Strike three to George Thomas. That's the second out for the Red Sox. The second strikeout for Nelson Briles. And we go to the top of the order now, and Jose Tartable, who grounded out to second his first time. St. Louis has 3 runs, 5 hits. The Boston Red Sox, no runs, 1 hit. Shannon in tied at third against Tartable. There's a drive into right center, hanging up. Flood coming on. He's got it. Curt Flood picking that one off. And a great defensive center fielder in the National League. No runs for the Red Sox in the third. 1 hit. There were no errors. 1 man left. In the middle of the third, the score is the Cardinals 3 and the Red Sox nothing. Tomorrow, NBC's American Football League schedule will feature the game between the Miami Dolphins and last year's AFL champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. The game will follow tomorrow's World Series telecast here in St. Louis. That's the Dolphins versus the Chiefs tomorrow, live in color, exclusively on NBC. 26-year-old Gary Wozlewski is coming on to pitch. There's the attendance. They have it all ready for today. Largest crowd in the history of Busch Memorial Stadium, 54,575. This ballpark seats about 20,000 more than Fenway Park, and yet tickets were harder to get here in St. Louis than they were in Boston.
I believe that's because the Cardinals clinched the pennant so early, Curt, and it gave a lot of people a long time to make arrangements to come into St. Louis and to try to get tickets. And, of course, being over the weekend, it was beneficial for out-of-town people.
And there's Mr. Harry Caray's guest today, Cary Grant.
Well, I don't know about my guest, but he's certainly here, and he looks just about the same as he does in the movies, doesn't he?
I'll tell you. Of course, we never could look that good anyway.
He's a great baseball fan, Curt. We used to see him at Dodger Stadium all the time out in Los Angeles.
Gary Wozlewski pitched in 12 games for the Red Sox. He had 8 starts. He won 2, lost 2. He was born in Meriden, Connecticut, lives now in Kensington, Connecticut. He was sent out to Toronto and then called back again. And he'll face Lou Brock in the last half of the third. Brock now with 5 hits in the series, the leader in that department. He has scored 3 runs, too. The best leadoff man in the major leagues. That's what they call Lou Brock. The strike to him. Curt Flood's on deck, and then Roger Merritt.
Yes, and he's a hitting leadoff man, Curt. He rarely draws a base on balls.
I think he walked only 24 times all year. He comes up there swinging. He'll swing at bad pitches. 1 strike pitch to him. And a bunny's way on. It's strike 2. He's trying to dump that one down the third baseline.
Wozlewski has a rather peculiar pitching motion, doesn't he? I imagine he would be distracting for the hitter.
Carl Yastrzemski says that Wozlewski has as good a stuff as anyone on the Boston staff. And when he gets a little more maturity and control, become a star as a starter. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One-two pitch. Struck him out. That was a high slider that got him. Strikeout number 1 for Wozlewski. And Curt Flood, the batter. He singled to drive in a run in the first inning. Gary Bell went 2 innings, allowed 5 hits and 3 runs. One of the 5 hits, a 2-run homer by Mike Shannon. Ground ball to Jerry Adair. Easy play for him. And they're 2 down. Roger Maris coming up. Maris been a very happy man here in St. Louis this summer, hasn't he, Harry?
Yes, he has. The people have liked him here, and he's heard nothing but cheers. I think he's become accustomed to the boos he used to hear in New York, but he's close to home. You know, he lives in Independence, Missouri, just a few hundred miles away.
0-1 to Roger Maris, who grounded out his first time.
And a wonderful fellow. I don't know how he got all the bad publicity and the bad write-ups. He seems to be such a great fellow.
2 down. Fouls it back, trying to hold up. 1 ball, 1 strike to Maris. Cepeda's on deck. The Cardinals are ahead 3-0, batting in the last of the 3rd. Maris is quiet, but you ask him something, he'll give you an answer. Doesn't hit the home runs the way he used to. Ball 2. He got some big hits early in the year for the Cardinals. A lot of hits in the gap to left center, they tell us.
He took one look at this ballpark, Curt, and he knew it wasn't going to be Yankee Stadium for him.
The 2-1 pitch. There's a high fly into right center. Tartabull and Smith converging. And Tartabull has it for out number 3. Cardinals 3 up, 3 down. At the end of 3 innings, the score is the Cardinals 3 and the Red Sox nothing. His wife Mildred. Don't miss Man's Favorite Sport, starring Rock Hudson and Paula Preston. Hilarious spoof on today's business world. Saturday night at the movies, tonight at 9, right here on NBC. Dalton Jones struck out his first time. Jones, Yastrzemski, and Scott for the Red Sox in the 4th. Fouls the curve off, strike 1 to him. Dalton's father used to be a minor league infielder. One strike to him. Nelson Briles on the mound for the Cardinals. There's the drive looping in the left. It'll be a base hit. Base hit number 2 for the Red Sox. First time they've had their leadoff batter in an inning on. And Yastrzemski coming up. He was hit by a pitch ball. Incidentally, he had a chance to go for a record in this World Series. The most assists by an outfielder in a 4, 5, and 6 game series is 2. Yastrzemski's already throwing 2 base runners out. The record for a 7 game series is 4. 4 assists by an outfielder. The Cardinals are leading 3-0. The Red Sox batting in the 4th. Foul back. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Every Cardinal I've talked to that they didn't realize how this fella comes out of the dugout and takes that savage cut every time. He does not let up on that swing. And this is all the Cardinals are talking about, is how hard Yastrzemski swings. Well, he's been that way ever since we've known him. He was a great minor league hitter and a major league hitter, too. He was just a natural hitter. Ball 1, strike 1. His dad started him playing baseball when he was very young. He used to hit ground balls to him. in front of the garage doors. And if Carl complained that he hit one a little hard, the father would hit the next one even harder. Playing back on Jones. He's at first. A 1-1 count to Yastrzemski. Uh-oh. Nearly threw it away. He had to make that move over there anyway, or he would have balked. Cepeda off the bag. And I think just as Briles let the ball go, he thought Cepeda was holding. And it might have bothered his throw, that, last split-second indecision. And McCarver's out to talk to him. Despite Yastrzemski's hard swing, he struck out only 65 times during the year. That's not too high a total for a fellow that has slugged the ball the way Yastrzemski has.
He's remarkable, Curt. You'd think off-speed pitches would fool him, but he hits those even further.
They did the first year or two, Harry, but he learned. Cardinals leading 3-0. Red Sox batting in the fourth. 1-1 to Yastrzemski. Ground ball hit out to Javier. Maxville for one, the first for the double play. Oh, that makes it 2 down. Nobody on. The Cardinals' first double play of the ball game. And George Scott's coming up. He hit a hot grounder back to the box in the second. Off Nelson Briles' glove and hip. Javier then came in on the ricochet and threw him out. Foul off, strike one to George Scott. St. Louis has 3 runs, 5 hits. The Red Sox, no runs, 2 hits. Red Sox have 2 away and the base is empty. Briles in with the 1-strike pitch. Foul off again. 0-2 to George Scott. With Reggie Smith on deck. Scott's cut down on his swing. He set a new Red Sox club record last year for strikeouts. This year he's just been trying to meet the ball. Going back through the middle, hitting to the opposite field. It's helped his average, lowered his homer output. There's the ball. That's what they like to do with him when they get ahead of him, is throw him that curveball in the dirt or throw him a bad curve way outside and hope that he'll go fishing. One ball, 2 strikes. Got him on the curve. 3rd strikeout for Briles. And the Red Sox are all out on the 4th. They had no runs, 1 hit. There were no errors, nobody left. In the middle of the 4th, it's the Cardinals 3 and the Red Sox nothing. The World Series telecast comes to you from Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, live in color, exclusively on NBC. This is a good look at the stadium, right downtown. Very easy to get to. Planned beautifully. And St. Louis should be proud of this. I know the Boston fans looking on must be envious of a stadium like this, but they don't have one in their city. A strike. St. Louis has proven it can be done. Cepeda fouled out his first time. Still looking for his first hit in the series. Foul back toward the netting and out of play. Strike 2 to Cepeda. Tim McCarver will follow, and then Mike Shannon. Wozlewski throws. Got him on a fastball. So Cepeda now is 0 for 9 in the series. And Tim McCarver's up. He singled to center in the second to get his first hit. Jose Santiago pitches for the Red Sox tomorrow. If the Cardinals win this game, left-hander Steve Carlton may pitch for St. Louis. A ball. If the Cardinals lose, they would probably come back with Bob Gibson. Shandin says he wants to pitch a left-hander against the Red Sox. They have 4 lefties in their batting lineup. He thinks a left-hander can handle them, especially away from Fenway Park. Ball 2, 2-0 to Tim McCarver.
What might be a motivating factor towards pitching Gibson, though, tomorrow, Curt, is that looking ahead to the possibility of a 7-game series, which would enable you to use Gibson a third time.
2 balls, no strikes. 1 out, nobody on. Foul out of play and back of third. Well, we thought we'd see a raincoat, umbrella crowd today, and they're all in their shirt sleeves now, sitting in the sunshine. The weather forecast is good for tomorrow. 2-1 pitch. Pounding ball to Scott. Took a tricky hop to him, flips to Wozlowski, and they're 2 down. George Scott has been called by many the best fielding first baseman in the American League in years. Very agile around the bag. Mike Shannon clubbed a home run in the second with McCarver aboard. He's the only St. Louis-born player in this Cardinal club. Cardinals are leading 3-0, last to the 4th. They have 2 out, nobody on. Ground ball to Petrocelli. And that's it. The Cardinals are down 1-2-3 as Wozlowski has retired 6 in a row since he came on. At the end of the 4th inning, the score, St. Louis 3 and Boston nothing. We showed you Commissioner Eckert. That's the commissioner's daughter on the left, and the former commissioner of baseball, Ford Frick, is joining the present commissioner now in the box. Charlie Seeger, the commissioner's office, and Joe Reichler all sitting there in the commissioner's box, and we're going to the 5th inning. Reggie Smith, Jerry Adair, and Rico Petrocelli. Smith lined out to Shannon, the third baseman, his first time up. Nelson Briles has stopped the Red Sox on 2 hits so far. Ball 1. He's been moving that ball around. He's been in and out, pitching the spots. He's had good low breaking stuff. Foul out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike to Smith. These 2 clubs, before the season started, even their most ardent fan, I don't believe, thought either one would win the pennant, especially the Red Sox. Red Sox came from 9th to win. The Cardinals finished 7th last year. They made quite a boost, too, that nobody's talked much about. They went from 7th to first place in 1 year. A 1-1 pitch. A line drive into right field. It's a base hit. Harris grabs it on a hop, and that's the 3rd hit for the Red Sox. Both Stan Musial and Red Shanding said in spring training that the Cardinals would go. They knew they had a pretty set ball club, could do a lot of things, but would go only as far as the pitching would take them. And they were leery of their pitching because it was mostly young pitching. But those young pitchers really came through for them. And Nelson Briles is one of the group of young pitchers the Cardinals have for the future. Cardinals were 6th last year. All right, we have Smith leading off. First base for the Red Sox, Adair the batter. Briles keeps him close. Cardinals are leading 3-0 in the 5th. Adair fouls it back. Adair has a lot of fans up here from Oklahoma rooting him on. He lives in Sand Springs, Oklahoma. Was a basketball star under Hank Ive at Oklahoma State.
Wonder if Hank's up here.
He's probably already working out for basketball. No balls, 1 strike. Curveball is popped up. Cepeda will handle it. 1 down. Rico Petrocelli is the next batter. Rico fly to left his first time. To join us late, the Cardinals got a run in the first and 2 in the second, and that's been the scoring so far. Aside from Scott and Yastrzemski, center fielder Curt Flood plays all these batters either straight away or to the opposite field. The curve is over. 0-1 to Petrocelli. Briles has had a good curveball today. Reggie Smith at first, 1 down. Gave him a fastball that time. 0-2. Briles is a part-time actor. He's played in some Shakespeare. That's Reggie Smith with his lead at first, 1 away. A 2-strike pitch is hit in the air out towards shallow center. Coming on is Curt Flood. He's got it. Takes the throw. And getting back, Reggie Smith. That Flood really covers the ground out there in center field. He's come on to make a couple of good plays in this game. He gets quite a jump on the ball, doesn't he, Harry?
That he does. That's a secret to his success, and he's as fine a defensive center fielder as there is in baseball.
Alston Howard single to right his first time. Red Sox have 2 down, Reggie Smith at first. Curt Flood won the Golden Glove Award the last 4 years for outstanding fielding in the National League. Ball 1. The Cardinals 3 runs, 5 hits. The Red Sox no runs, 3 hits. We're in the top of the 5th inning. The Red Sox have 2 away and Reggie Smith at first. One ball, 1 strike to Howard. Briles will be pitching 1-1. Fouled away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Been quite a story in St. Louis. A warm human story where 2 fellows who were roommates for 11 years have now teamed up to head the Cardinals, Musial as general manager and Shane Dienst as field manager, and to have the year they've had. Reggie Smith at first, 2 down. Got him on a curveball. Oh, he's had a curve that's been dropping like a roll-off end of a table. That's all for the Red Sox in the 5th. No runs, 1 hit, there were no errors, and 1 left. And in the middle of the 5th inning, it's the Cardinals 3 and the Red Sox 0. Memorial Stadium. College football, Duke and Army, no score first quarter. Penn State surprisingly leading UCLA 7-0 the first period. LSU leading Florida 10-0 at the end of the first period. Michigan State 14, Wisconsin 7 at the end of 3. Michigan 14, Navy 10 at the end of the first quarter. We'll give you some more college football scores later. But right now, to carry on the play-by-play, the exciting and colorful broadcaster of the St. Louis Cardinals for 22 years, who has done so much to popularize the Cardinal baseball, not only here in St. Louis, but around the vast Cardinal network. It's my pleasure to turn you over now to Mr. Harry Caray.
Thank you very much, Curt. Hello again, everybody. We go into the bottom of the fifth, and Julian Javier, who singled his first time up, tested the great arm of Yastrzemski and was thrown out trying to turn it into a double. Uli had his greatest season, hit .281. Here's a fellow you make a mistake to, will hit the ball with great power. Fastball in there. Wasilewski has pitched 2 perfect innings. He's fanned 2. University of Connecticut product. Tall, rangy right-hander. Last year at Toronto, he led the league with 18 and 11. Every hitter's weakness, I think, that curveball. Sidearm curve, and Javier waved at it. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the fifth, 3-0 in favor of the Cardinals, the third game of the World Series. Wasilewski, as I mentioned, is a big kid, 6'4". Weighs 190 pounds. Here's the pitch. Makes it 2 strikes and a ball. I would imagine Curt is particularly difficult against right-handed batters. He sort of wheels a little bit from the side.
Got a good crossfire pitch, Harry.
2 strikes and a ball on Julian Javier. Redbirds have had 5 hits, 3 runs. Curve is low. That evens it up. The Red Sox have had 3 hits, no runs. Both teams have played errorless ball. And the biggest crowd ever to see a baseball game in this city, 54,575, is on hand. Javier, the pride of the Dominican. He struck him out. And that's a 3rd strikeout for Wasilewski, 1 in each inning to his pitch. Wasilewski was signed originally by the Pirates after his freshman year at the University of Connecticut. I imagine they'd love to have him now. Dal Maxwell, the shortstop. That batting average you see there with a 1 home run and 227 mark with 41 RBIs doesn't look like much. Fouls off the first pitch. But this little guy played as important a role in the Cardinal pennant as anybody else. Those 41 RBIs were big RBIs. It seemed like every one of them either tied a ball game or put the Cardinals ahead. It was his personal high and runs batted in. 1 strike, no ball. Curve, and he missed it. Strike 2. Wasilewski is retired 7 in a row. Gary Bell started and was touched for the 3 runs on 5 hits. Mike Shannon's homer into the left field stands with a man on being the big blow. High fly ball will be caught. Tartable's over there, and he takes it. Maxwell flies to Tartable in right center. 2 out, and here's the pitcher, Nelson Briles, who will get a good hand from this crowd. And as you see, it's a shirt-sleeve crowd now, the temperature around 80 degrees. So what started out so threatening turns out to be a thing of beauty, as it were. Bouncing ball. Petrocelli. That's all for the Cardinals as Petrocelli throws out Briles. 1-2-3, nothing across. And the score at the end of 5 innings remains the Cardinals 3, the Red Sox nothing. Great arch. The Gateway Arch it is called. It's symbolic of the fact that this was the takeoff city to the west in the old days, and the Busch Memorial Stadium has been built almost adjacent to this arch, and it certainly has been a spirit of rebirth so far as our downtown section of the city is concerned. Mike Andrews is going to be the pinch hitter here for the Red Sox, batting for Gary Waslewski.
Well, Harry Waslewski did what he was supposed to as a long relief man. He came in and stopped the Cardinals cold, and hoping now that the Red Sox bats can get hot and get the Red Sox back in the ball game.
Mike Andrews, who had a fine year in his rookie season at second base, hit .269 with 8 homers, drove in 40 runs. Will lead it off as the pinch hitter for Waslewski. Base hit up the middle. On the very first pitch, Andrews lines a single to center. And the Red Sox, for the third inning in a row, start the inning with the leadoff man getting a base hit. So now Jose Tartabull will be up there. Lee Stang is warming up in the bullpen for the Red Sox. Tartabull, left-handed batter, has bounced to the second baseman, fly to center. He's 0 for 6 in the World Series, hit .223 during the season. He's very fast, likes to bunt. Shannon plays him shallow. He does bunt. Back to Briles. The play will be to first base. Briles hesitated, deliberated, figured that he had a 3-run lead and why take a chance, and got Tartabull at first base. From Briles to Cepeda, now it'll be up to the judgment of the scorer as to whether that will be ruled a sacrifice or not. With the Red Sox 3 runs behind, you know that Tartabull was running for a hit in order to bring the tying run up at the plate. But they do give him a sacrifice. It is a sacrifice credited to Tartabull. Here now is Dalton Jones, left-handed batter. Lives in Baton Rouge, born in Macomb, Mississippi. He's had 1 out of 2 in this ballgame. He's hit in each game of this World Series, by the way. Briles pitch. Fastball low and inside.
He earned his way into the starting lineup in the World Series, Harry, with his hitting the last 2 weeks of the season. He and Yastrzemski did quite a job, especially on a road trip. Twice in 2 of the road trip games, Jones had 4 hits in each game.
He strokes that ball. He sprays it all over the place. Briles ready to fire. And it's a fastball caught the corner at the belt. That evens it up, a ball and a strike. Andrews, the pinch hitter who led off the inning with a base hit, sacrificed to second by Jose Tartabull. And Dalton Jones and Yastrzemski now will have a chance at getting the Red Sox on the scoreboard as the Cardinals lead 3-0 here in the 6th. Briles has allowed 4 hits, never more than 1 in any inning. Fastball in there, a strike at the knees. And Briles has gone almost completely to his fastball against the left-handed hitters. Dalton Jones up there. Hit .289 for the regular season with 3 homers. He's had 3 out of 11, make it 4 out of 11 now in the World Series. Brock has the most hits, 5. Nelson Briles getting set. Andrews with a safe lead at second base. Fastball, line drive, base hit. Let's see if Andrews can score. Here's Maris coming up, comes up throwing, and he is safe at the plate. Dalton Jones drives in the first Red Sox run. A line single to right field. And it's 3-1 now. And here's Carl Yastrzemski representing the tying run at the plate. Yastrzemski, who hit 2 homers in the Thursday game, drove in 4 runs. Had such a banner season, hitting .326 with 44 homers. A 3-1 ball game with a runner at first and 1 out. Nelson Briles, who pitched only 4 complete games during the regular season. Curve in there, a strike call. He started Yastrzemski off with a curveball on this sequence. 3-1 in favor of the Cardinals. We're in the top of the 6th. It's Mike Shannon playing at deep third base. Yastrzemski hits the ball to all field. Flood shades him just a little towards right. Cepeda playing behind the runners, you see. To get a little percentage on defense. He had a vicious cut, but he missed. 2 strikes, no ball. I tell you, it proves Yastrzemski has arrived as a superstar when a crowd reacts that much when you just miss a ball. That is reserved for great stars, Curt.
Well, to show what they think of him in New England Thursday when it started to rain, some fan yelled out, "Make it stop raining, Carl."
2 strikes, no ball. Left-handed batter, and a great one, Carl Yastrzemski. High foul out of play. 2 strikes, no ball. To prove that there aren't just great football players in Notre Dame, here's a boy that was a baseball player, went to school there. Carl Yastrzemski. Nelson Briles out in front with 2 strikes and nothing. Flood playing very deep, as are Brock and Maris, of course. Barely missed with a fastball low and away, and you could see what Briles was trying to hit that time. He wanted that outside corner at the knees, but he missed with it. 2 strikes and a ball. The score 3-1 in favor of the Cardinals. We're in the top of the 6th. The runners at first base, and Carl Yastrzemski's the batter. Playing in his first World Series. Curveball. Bounce to Javier. Fumbles. Recovers, though, in time. Flips over to Cepeda. Yastrzemski rolls to Javier, who charged the ball, hoping that he might be able to start a double play, but fumbled it, recovered in time to get the out. So there's a man in scoring position now, as Dalton Jones advances to second base on the play, and George Scott, who hit .303 during the regular season with 19 homers. In this World Series, he's had 3 out of 9. This fella hits the ball when he hits home runs to as many to center field, I guess, as he hits to left. His power alleys are left center, center, and right center. Curveball, strike.
He's got a special name for those home runs, long taters.
Why not sweet taters, Curt? 1 strike, no ball. Briles has been using his curveball almost exclusively. To Scott. Got him on strikes in the 4th with the curveball. He went chasing it, strike 2. From Greenville, Mississippi, George Scott. Still lives down in Greenville, too, by the way. Spent 4 years in the Red Sox farm system. This is his 2nd year up here in the big league. Originally a third baseman. Now a great first baseman. Ground ball to Maxwell. He should throw him out. He does, and that retires the side. 1 run, 2 hits. No errors, 1 left. The score at the end of 5.5 innings. St. Louis 3, Boston 1. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow, just before the World Series game, for a World Series report with Central and 10:30 Pacific time. That's the World Series report with highlights of the first 3 games and a preview of upcoming action. We have a new pitcher, Lee Stang, coming in for the Boston Red Sox. Curt, this fellow pitched some fine baseball near the end of the season for the Red Sox, did he not?
Harry, you know there's always one pitcher on every staff that the club never gets any runs for him. Stang's been that fellow. He pitched a lot of low-scoring games, losing 2-1, 1-0, 3-2. He wound up with 8 wins, 10 losses. Pitched in 35 games. Lives in St. Louis Park, Minnesota. He is a gritty little competitor, a tough pitcher. Keeps the ball down low and fights you on that mound, and he's really been the hard luck pitcher on the Boston Red Sox staff this year. Gary Waslewski did a perfect job, coming in early relief and retired 9 batters in a row to keep the Red Sox close. So we'll see what Stang does now, with the Cardinals ahead 3-1, going to the last of the 6th inning.
When Gary Waslewski came in, the first man he faced in his role as a relief pitcher was Lou Brock, the leadoff man. He struck him out. Now Lee Stang comes in, and the first man he faces, again, the irrepressible Lou Brock. Stang went to Drake University at Des Moines. Three-sport man there in baseball, basketball, and football. This is his 11th year professional baseball, beginning with the Washington organization back in 1957. He was also with the Twins and Cleveland before getting to the Red Sox. Here's Brock to lead it off. He's at 1 out of 3, a triple. He bunts. If it stays fair, but it goes foul. Lou Brock bunting down the third line at baseline, but bunting foul. Brock is a versatile hitter. He'll hit for the long one. He'll bunt, hit to the opposite field, and of course he has that tremendous asset of blinding speed. When he bounces the ball on the ground, why, there's always pressure on the... Brock is a versatile hitter. He'll hit for the long one. He'll bunt, hit to the opposite field, and of course he has that tremendous asset of blinding speed. When he bounces the ball on the ground, why, there's always pressure on the infielder to handle the ball more rapidly than he normally would. And this, of course, sometimes develops into errors that they wouldn't normally make. 1 strike, Lou Brock up there. He bunts again. He's going to beat it out. Wait. Absolutely perfect drag bunt. Scott wound up fielding the ball.
And when you call it a perfect drag bunt, there it is. But watch this play by Scott. He made quite a pickup, and a lot of first basemen would have thrown that ball away, but he nailed it right over there to Stang covering. But Brock now leads the series in base hits.
Yes, he's 6 for 11. He's batting .545. He's also stolen 2 bases, and listen to the crowd. They want him to go again.
Watch out for a pitch out here.
There you see him in the corner of your screen. Look at the lead he's got. Gets back easily, but he almost slipped off the bag. And George Scott is talking to Augie Donatelli. Brock, as you saw, got back easily, but he sort of slipped and almost fell off the bag. Flood likes to hit the ball to the opposite field. He's a great man to be hitting behind a runner like Brock. There it is again. He's safe. He went back a little awkwardly again that time, as if not knowing whether he wanted to slide or not. The crowd, of course, wants to see him go. And there's a throw. Wild throw. There's Brock. He might wind up at third. Watch this. He's going to hit for third. And he makes it standing up. The throw comes into the plate. And there's how a Brock can tear a ball game apart. An error on Stain. Trying to pick Brock off. And there you see it again.
Ball getting away. Watch this fella run. He's a real whippet on these bases. Nearly stumbled rounding second. And he's put the pressure on him all the way, right from his first time at bat in this World Series, Harry.
That's true. And Curt, that's why when we talked about a star of a series, why I referred to Brock, because there's so many ways that he can hurt you. Here's Flood now with the infield in. The Cardinals leading 3-1, have a runner at third with nobody out. Lee Stain pitching off the stretch so he can watch Brock. Ramirez, who hit him a double play in the first inning, flied out to right in the third. He's had 1 out of 9 in this World Series. Wyatt and Yastrzemski, John Wyatt and Dan Yastrzemski warming up in the bullpen for the Red Sox. Infield in again. 3-1 in favor of the Cardinals. Lee Stang trying to pitch out of a jam. Brock at third. 1 out. Cepeda will be up there next. Fastball sinks low. Stang, 30 years old. Both fellows pitchers go. That's Joe Schultz, you see there. Brock edging off third base. Stang weighs only 170. Brock on ground balls gets a flying start. The reason he was able to score the other day in Boston on a great play by Adair. High pop foul back. Into the stand. And the count is even on Roger Maris. There you get a good look at Lee Stang. A gritty little competitor. Maris. All year long, Maris was great in these kind of situations for the Cardinals. Getting the run home. The fastball inside. Almost tailed over the corner. Frank Umont is the plate umpire. Augie down to Telly at first, Ed Runge at second, Paul Pryor at third, Al Borlick down the right field line, and John Stevens down the left field line. 2 balls and a strike. He had a cut at a curve and he missed. So Stang has run the count to 2-2 on Roger Maris. Maris drove in both runs in the opening 2-1 victory on ground balls. Brock down the line at third. 2-2 pitch. Line drive fouled on the first base line. And the crowd groans. Lou Brock. Brock had 206 hits during the regular season. He's already had 6 hits in this World Series. There are only 2 Major League players that reached the 200 mark this year, and Brock was one of them. Ball outside. Roberto Clemente of the Pirates was the other one. He had 209 hits. Brock had 206. Three balls, 2 strikes. Infield in. Line drive, base hit, the run is in. Maris lines a single to right, and the Cardinals lead 4-1. And this crowd, of course, highly partisan St. Louis crowd, as it was highly partisan Boston in the first 2 games, is uproaring. That Maris is really something so far as getting the run home. Here's Cepeda, looking for his first hit of the series. Throw to first. Orlando is 0 for 9. Maris, a good base runner. Bounced it foul. 1 strike, no ball. Maris, by a good base runner, I mean a runner with fine judgment. He doesn't have the base-stealing speed of a Brock, but not many people do. Cardinals out in front, 4-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Popped it up. Elston Howard has room. Makes the catch. So Cepeda fouls to Howard.
You know, Harry, even when Maris was hitting all those home runs, people never realized, though, his all-around ability as an outfielder, a good throwing arm, knew when to go from first to third. He's always been a fine all-around ball player.
And to the Cardinals this year, Curt, he brought the stability of the class pro, a fellow who's been through it all, and very popular guy with the players as well as with the people. Here's Tim McCarver. Maris at first with 2 out. Good curveball, strike call. 4-1, St. Louis. Bottom of the 6th. Twice today, Brock was on third base with nobody out. In the first inning with his leadoff triple, and then in the 6th after a base hit, they threw wild trying to pick him off. And he wound up at third. The fastball is high. Stang moves that ball around. McCarver, the pride of Memphis, Tennessee. A great football star in high school. Turned down various college football scholarships to sign baseball contract with the Cardinals. Half swing, he went around, said Frank Humont, and strike 2. McCarver won't be 26 until this fall. The 16th day of this month. And this is 8th year in the major leagues. High pop foul. Dalton Jones. He's got it, now retires aside, and a good job done by Stang at that. 1 run scores, there were 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left. So, the score at the end of 6 innings, St. Louis Cardinals 4, the Boston Red Sox 1. This is Harry Caray. We go into the top of the 7th inning. The Cardinals are out in front, 4-1. How about that UCLA over Penn State, only 10-7 at the end of 3 quarters? That could turn out to be an upset. Notre Dame is out and running, as you see, at the end of 1 quarter, 14-0. Reggie Smith will lead it off. He's 1 out of 2 in the ballgame. Cardinals out in front 4-1 as Nelson Briles has allowed only 5 hits. The flying feet of Lou Brock have been very conspicuous. There's a pitch and there's a drive deep. Way back. Might be out of here. It could be. It is a home run. Reggie Smith, a towering home run over the right field wall. And that makes it 4-2. Boy, Curt, he showed great power for a little fellow on that one.
I think in time, Harry, he'll be up in the 25, 35 homer class in the major leagues. Another year or 2, he'll start catching up with the pitchers more. He has power from both sides of the plate. He's going to be a real star in the American League.
So that was his 2nd hit of the game. and his third hit of the World Series. And here's Jerry Adair. He's 0 for 2. Low and outside. Nelson Briles has a 4-2 lead now. As Reggie Smith hit a towering home run over the right field wall. Ground ball to Maxville. Easy out. So Adair is thrown out by Dow Maxville, and there's one gone, bringing up Rico Petrocelli. The Red Sox now have hit 4 homers in this World Series. Jose Santiago hit 1, Yastrzemski hit 2, and now Reggie Smith.
They led the American League in home runs and were the best power hitting club in that league.
They had 158 homers for the season. Petrocelli takes a sinking fastball, low and away. 1 in, 1 out, 7th inning. St. Louis leads 4-2. The third game of the 1967 World Series. High fly ball. Brock near the line. 2 out. That Petrocelli, before this weekend is over, I have a feeling might dump one into those left field stands. He gets a good cut up there, and he is a pull hitter, it looks like, Curt.
He's ideal for Fenway Park. He's got that short fence swing, and he'll loft the ball. He's going to be another fellow in the 2025 homer class, too.
Elston Howard, who is born and raised here in St. Louis, takes a curve low. Elston was born about 2 blocks away from the old ballpark. Two men are out, a run is in. Howard has had 1 out of 2. Takes a fastball low, ball 2. Nelson Briles pitched just 4 complete games. He's involved in a lot of low-run games. And the Cardinals, with a good bullpen, frequently went to either a Horner or a Willis in the late innings. There's a fastball at the knee. 2 balls and a strike. Boy, here's the greatest shot, I think, that can be presented. Just as if you're in Briles' spot. Javier. So, Petrocelli is retired from Javier to Cepeda, and it's 1 run, 1 hit. No errors and nobody left. And we go into the bottom half of the 7th here in St. Louis with the score. The Cardinals 4, the Red Sox 2. Mike Shannon leads it off in the bottom of the 7th. That home run he hit in the 2nd with a man on, which is the ball game right now, was his 2nd in World Series competition. Strike call. Hit one against Whitey Ford in the first game of the 1964 World Series. Shannon, who during the regular season hit 12 homers, drove in 77 runs, and batted .245. Some of the fans out in the bleachers in right field are draping the wall out there with signs and banners, and they've been requested to take him down. He's going to beat it out. Perfect bunt. Shannon, a perfect bunt down the third base line. Curt, this is the kind of game these Cardinals play. This Brock will hit a home run one time at bat and bunt on you the next time. Today, for example, he tripled in the first inning and beat out a bunt in the 6th. And Shannon homered in the 2nd, and now he bunts for a base hit in the 7th.
Also looks, Harry, like they're trying to challenge Jones at third. He's playing with a taped-up leg. He's had a hamstring pull for a couple of years now. He's had his troubles in the field off and on. That's why he hasn't been a regular all the way. He's got the good bat, but now they're dumping that ball down the third baseline against him in this game.
So Mike Shannon with a perfect bunt launches the Cardinals 7th with a base hit. And here's Javier. He's had 1 out of 2. Here's another fellow might put that ball down. Shannon, a safe lead. Lee Stang from the belt. Pitch out. And did you notice Javier had shortened up? He did have that in mind. 1 ball, no strikes. A runner at first base. We're in the bottom of the 7th in St. Louis with the score 4-2 in favor of the Cardinals. Julian Javier. There's a high drive out of play into the left field stands. 1 ball, 1 strike. You can't beat fun at the old ballpark, can you? I was just thinking, Curt, when I was talking about Tim McCarver. 8th year in the National League at age, won't be 26 until later this month. What a great life he's already had, what a great future he has to look forward to, and what security baseball will provide him with the remarkable pension plan they have.
There's young Jones, 5 years in the majors, only 23. Petrocelli's only 22. Conigliaro's only 22. Same with the Red Sox players.
Here's the pitch. Swung at a curve and he missed. And you talk about what baseball can do. How about the story of a Stan Musial? In the sandlots of Donora, Pennsylvania, fame and fortune as a great star. Now the general manager, vice president, general manager of the team that he was signed with originally. Tremendous story of rags to riches. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball. In fast, Petrocelli. Only play, first base, and he is out. Petrocelli on a slow roller had only 1 play, and that was to first base. And he got Javier by a step. Here's Maxwell with a runner at second and 1 out. So youngsters watching today, Curt, who have baseball ability, no greater profession for them to aspire to than to be a Major League ball player.
Aren't they building a monument outside this ballpark for Musial, a statue of him?
Yeah, it's going to be as big as a stadium. There's a pitch to Dow Maxwell. In there, a curveball, a strike call. 1 strike and no ball. 4-2, the Cardinals lead. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Shannon. He's going to try to steal it, but it's swung on, and there's a chance here for a double play. Shannon's trying to get back. Reggie Smith fires. Safe. Boy, Mike Shannon had such a tremendous jump off second base that he was going to steal third. But Dal Maxwell was swinging at the pitch and flied to Reggie Smith. Shannon had already reached third base when Smith caught the ball. He was able to get back to second, though, and just barely.
By the way, Harry, that Smith has as powerful as throwing arm as there is in baseball. But that ball hung up there too long for him. Watch that jump. There he goes on the replay. Now, he's in the third. See him? Now, here he is scrambling back. The ball's up in the air. Smith unloads it in there, but just a little bit too late to Jerry A. did.
The Red Sox appealed for the ball. I think they were claiming that Shannon, who had touched third base, had not retouched it on the way back. You know, you have to, when you return, you have to, if you've touched the bag coming forward, you've got to touch it going back. But it was indicated that he had, and so he has returned safely. Here's Briles. With that swing, he wouldn't frighten a pitcher, but he has had base hits during the course of the regular season. These pitchers are a funny breed. You know, they can pitch a 3-hit shutout and not talk about it as much as if they get one little puny base hit in the game. They'd rather talk about their hitting. Swung and he missed. You can see the wisdom of Shannon's effort Had he been able to steal third, he might have scored on the fly ball, since there would have been only one out. But now, of course, it would take a base hit from Briles. Anyway, Briles had a total of 6 hits during the season. Two strikes and a ball. It looks like Brock will have a chance to lead off for the 4th time in the game. Each time he's been to bat so far today, he's led off the inning. And so he will again in the 8th, unless Briles gets a base hit here. Popped up. Petrocelli and now Adair, and Adair makes the catch. So it is no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. And the score here, at the end of 7 innings, the St. Louis Cardinals 4, the Boston Red Sox 2.
Graham, your Chrysler Plymouth dealer in Jackson, invites you to inspect the 68 models, over 100 new cars, 75 used cars, now at Craig Graham, 419 South Gallatin. WLBT Channel 3, Jackson.
With Curt Gowdy, this is Harry Caray from Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, where the Cardinals are leading the Red Sox 4-2 as we go into the top of the 8th. Tomorrow, NBC's American Football League schedule will feature the game between the Miami Dolphins and last year's AFL champion Kansas City Chiefs. The game will immediately follow tomorrow's World Series telecast from St. Louis. That's the Dolphins versus the Chiefs tomorrow, live and in color and exclusively on NBC. This is Joe Foy, a pinch hitter for Ed Stang. Foy was the regular third baseman of the Red Sox last year and for part of this year. He hit .242 during the season, had 16 homers, drove in 50 runs. Right-handed batter, takes a curveball low. Stang, during his 2 innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 of them were bunts, 1 run. In the 2 innings he pitched, the 1 run was unearned due to his own error, trying to pick off Brock. Foy had a cut. Joe Foy, born in the Bronx, New York, 24 years old, 6-footer, 210-pounder. Has good power, as the home run total would indicate. Stockily built, steps out of the batter's box. Foy batting for Stang. Mike Andrews was a pinch hitter earlier and singled, scored the first Red Sox run. Swung right through that fastball. 2 strikes and a ball. Nelson Briles. I believe that was the hardest pitch he's thrown in the game, Harry, that last one. He moves that ball around. He's got good control, and he's sneaky fast. Here's the pitch. Curve into the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now, he was a relief pitcher last year when he had a record of 4-15. Started this season in the bullpen. Wasn't at all as consistent as he's been since he became a starter. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Foy, leading off the 8th with the Red Sox trailing the Cardinals by 2 runs. Bouncing ball, Maxville the shortstop. Perfect throw. 1 out. You notice a lot of balls have been hit on the ground. Briles has a good sinking fastball. He got Yastrzemski to hit into a double play in the 4th. Got him to hit the ball on the ground again in the 6th. Here's Jose Tortable, the leadoff man. He's 0 for 2. Bounced to the second baseman Javier, flied to Flood, and sacrificed. Briles has hit 1. That was Yastrzemski. He hasn't walked anybody. There's a curve in there, a strike off. He has fanned 4, walked nobody, hit 1, allowed 6 hits. So he's pitched a strong ball game. Jose Tortable. This fellow very fast. Fly ball, center field. Curt Flood waiting. Easy out. 5 in a row retired now by Briles since Reggie Smith opened the 7th with a home run. That's 2 gone, and here's Dalton Jones. Curt?
Harry, everybody's wondering about Flood's arm. Is it really as bad as everybody's heard, or is it all right? What do you think? You've been watching him every day.
Well, it isn't as good as it was, but it isn't as bad as people thought who scouted us the last couple of weeks of the season, Curt, because he can throw now if necessary, and he feels that the winter's rest will bring it back to top strength. Strike call, the fastball. Dalton Jones has had 2 out of 3 off Nelson Briles. And I guess he leads the Red Sox hitters with a total of 5 hits in the World Series. There's another one. A solid smack up the middle, and that brings up Yastrzemski representing the tying run. And you can bet this is the one thing the Cardinals did not want to see.
Following baseball, the 3rd game of the 1967 World Series, direct from Birmingham, in color, the Ole Miss-Alabama game will be switching in time for play to begin. The Ole Miss-Alabama game following the World Series here on Channel 3 television.
He was one of the St. Louis Stars in the World Series against Boston in 1946. In fact, Shandy's handled the last ball of the game. A ground ball was hit to him that he turned into a force play at second base for the final out in that exciting 7-game World Series won by St. Louis. And you know what they're talking about, Curt Gowdy. It's don't give him a good ball to hit.
Nothing else.
I don't care even if you walk him, but don't give him a good ball to hit. Yastrzemski. And here is the tensest situation of this afternoon. Because this is the kind of a spot that this fellow has come through in all year long. Carl Yastrzemski, representing the tying run. Ooh, what a cut he had. Boy, does he ever unload. I never saw a man swing so viciously every time as he does.
The more you watch him, you keep wondering how that back is going to hold up the way he takes that cut. But he does it year after year.
1 strike and no balls, 2 out. Nelson Briles in a spot where he must avoid the long ball. The outfield, well, you know where they are. As far as they can play by. Ground ball again to Javier. He's got it over to first. For the 3rd time in a row, Yastrzemski grounds to Javier. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. And at the end of 7.5 innings now, the score here in St. Louis 4, Boston 2 to Javier. There's some football games that you might be interested in. Northwestern out in front of Purdue. That's 13-6 at the half. That's a big one. And look at Kansas State. Kansas State leading Nebraska 14-7. Dan Osinski, a right-hander's the new pitcher. This is the 4th pitcher employed by the Red Sox. Osinski during the season, 1-3, lost 1. He's traveled around. He's modeled a few uniforms, as it were. Used to be with the Braves, I know, with the Angels. He's with Kansas City. He went to the Red Sox from Milwaukee, when it was the Milwaukee Braves in 1965. Started his career with Fort Smith in 1952. 34-year-old right-hander. Now makes his home at Dalton, Illinois, which is near Chicago. Dan Osinski. On that last time at bat, Yastrzemski, you could see he was trying to pull, and Briles with a sinking fastball to the outside part of the plate. He sort of hit that ball on the end of the bat harmlessly to the second baseman. Here's Lou Brock leading it off for the 4th time today. He's tripled, he struck out, and he beat out a bunt. He has scored 2 runs. Long drive, right center. Reggie Smith is there, takes it. I wonder if this is some kind of a record, Alan Roth. In 4 times at bat today, Lou Brock has led off each time and faced a different pitcher each time. Ties a record. The demon statistician here, I thought maybe I'd come up with... I beat him to 1, Curt, but he already was armed with the information that it merely ties.
It's a hard man to beat.
Here's Flood. Osinski's fastball is high. 1 out. Bottom of the 8th, 4-2 in favor of the Cardinals. Flood has driven in a run. He's had 1 out of 3 today. Strike. Good fastball. Osinski, as you see, comes directly over the top. Flood, who had his greatest year, hit .335 during the regular season. Pitch gets away from Elston Howard. His mark was the 4th best in the National League, and it was 68 points better than he hit last year. He has hit over 305 times in the last 7 years. 2 balls and a strike. Bouncing ball. Dalton Jones should throw him out. He does. Jones to Scott. 2 up, 2 down. Bottom of the 8th. 4-3. 4-2. St. Louis. Roger Maris, who drove in the 4th run in the 6th inning. The Cardinals got 1 on a triple by Brock and a single by Flood in the 1st. Single by McCarver, a home run by Shannon for 2 in the 2nd. Maris takes a strike. A safe bunt by Brock, a wild throw by Stang, and a base hit by Maris accounted for the final run in the 6th. Strike 2. That ball acted like a screwball. Looked like the pitch broke away from the left-handed hitter and down. Roger Maris. Cardinals have scored a total of 6 runs in this series now, and Maris has driven in 3 of them. Foul tip off to the right. 2 strikes, no ball. And Brock has scored 4 of the 6. Maris has driven in 3 of the 6. 2 strikes, no ball. Osinski's pitch. Outside. The 4th game of the World Series here tomorrow. It's expected to be Jose Santiago against Bob Gibson. 2 strikes and a ball. He didn't mean to swing a little dribbler. Got a chance to beat it out. Safe! That, I'm sure, will be a hit. Scott had to come in to field the ball, and Maris beat Osinski in the race for the bag. And the throw is low, and so it's an infield hit, and here's Cepeda.
Osinski was late leaving the mound. He got over a little sooner, he might have had it. But he was late getting off the bus.
Well, this crowd here in St. Louis, accustomed to seeing Cepeda deliver big hits, is waiting here for cha-cha to go boom, as it were. Cepeda hitless in the series, nothing out of 10. Comes up with a runner at first and 2 out. High fly ball, deep right field, way back. Might be out of here off the top of the wall. Here's Maris, he's going to score. Cepeda goes into second base. The crowd here, of course, enjoying that one. I think that's the first time at bat in this World Series that Cepeda quite obviously was not trying to pull the ball. That's the type of hitter he is, to right center and left center. And he kept telling his teammates about Fenway Park's short left field fence. And I think he psyched himself, Curt, to the point where he found himself pulling everything. But on this time, he went with Yastrzemski and hit the top of the right center field wall beyond the 386-foot mark. So he drives in his first run of the series and gets his first hit. And the Cardinals now lead 5-2. Here's McCarver. McCarver got his first hit of the series today. He's 1 out of 3. Boy, there's a beautiful shot. This, you got to feel like you're right in a ball game looking at it right now. Ground ball to short. But Crisselli fires perfectly, and the inning is over. However, with 2 out, a scratch hit by Maris and a double by Cepeda, and it's 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. And the score here now in St. Louis at the end of 8 innings, St. Louis Cardinals 5, Boston Red Sox 2.
Play is not underway as yet in Birmingham. We'll be switching when play begins to Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama. WLBT Jackson back to the World Series.
Game of the World Series. With Gibson probably going tomorrow, the Cardinals would find themselves in a rather good position should they win this one. George Scott leads it off for the Red Sox here in the 9th. Briles has retired him handily 3 times in a row. Strike call. Briles has a pitching motion which throws him far off the mound towards the first base side. Many times little dribblers hit back to the pitcher's box turn out to be hits as a result. Foul tip, strike 2.
Looks like he might be easy to bunt on, Harry, the way, the awkward way he finishes up. He's nearly fallen down a couple of times at the end of his motion.
He reacts pretty well, though. 2 strikes, no ball. George Scott up there. 3 out of 10 in the series, nothing out of 3 today. 5-2, the Cardinals lead. Fouled it back. 3,100 standing room tickets go on sale here at this ballpark at 9 o'clock tomorrow at windows 39, 40, 42, and 43. Is the message up on the board. Great turnout here today. Curveball low. 54,575. And why not? This is the greatest sports classic that there is, the World Series. Nelson Briles gets set. He hasn't walked anybody. Ground ball. Shannon. 1 out. Shannon moving to his left, throws out George Scott. Nelson Briles, as I mentioned, hasn't walked anybody. He hit Yastrzemski with a pitch ball in the first inning. He had 3 ball counts on only 2 hitters. Reggie Smith in the second and a pinch hitter, George Thomas, in the third. Here's Smith, who's had 2 out of 3, including a home run. This boy wasn't even on the Red Sox roster this spring, was he, Curt? Turned out to be a fine ball player.
Well, he actually started the season at second base.
There's a strike call at the knees. You notice Briles is keeping that ball down. 1 out. Smith can run. That evens it up with a ball and a strike. Nelson Briles almost threw himself onto the ground after delivering that ball. Bob Gibson gives you a lot of that in his delivery, too, where he really pushes off that rubber.
How about Jim Bunning the same way?
Yes, that's right. It's a good example. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a strike over the inside corner. only one inning and the Red Sox had more than one base runner. And that was in the 6th on a single by pinch hitter Mike Andrews and a base hit by Dalton Jones that drove in the run. High pop foul. McCarver off at the mask, but no play. 2 strikes and a ball. In spite of this fine pitching of Briles, actually the Red Sox have been retired in order in only one inning, and that was the 2nd inning. They had stranded only 4 men. Yastrzemski got on, hit by a pitch ball in the 1st, and was thrown out trying to advance on a short pass ball. Howard singled with 1 out in the 3rd. Jones singled to lead off the 4th and was retired in a double play when Yastrzemski grounded out from Javier to Maxfield to Cepeda. Smith singled in the 5th. There's a pitch inside. The 2 base hits in the 6th. A home run by Reggie Smith in the 7th. A single with 2 out by Dalton Jones in the 8th. That's it. Nelson Briles. We got to give both Chico, California, and Carmichael credit for Nelson. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Inside, ball 3. And he was actually born in Doris, California. Population of 1,000. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Reggie Smith. Jerry Adair will be next. Popped up. This ball will be playable. Hey, let's see. Cepeda comes in to make the catch. I think the batter, Reggie Smith, would have been called out for interference anyhow. McCarver was going down the line to catch the ball, collided with Reggie Smith, and Cepeda came in to make the play anyway, but Frank Umont had indicated that Reggie Smith would have been declared out for interference had Cepeda not caught the ball.
Smith ran right over him. As soon as he did, Umont gave the out sign.
Here's Jerry Adair. While I have a moment, I certainly want to express Curt and I our appreciation to statistician Alan Roth and our production stage manager Jim O'Gorman. A wee broth of a lad. First pitch is low, outside. The official scoring on that top foul is actually interference and out, although Cepeda caught the ball. Adair has been hitless, nothing out of 3. Hasn't had the ball out of the infield. That evens it up. Nothing out of 3. Hasn't had the ball out of the infield. That evens it up. A ball and a strike. It would appear that the St. Louis Cardinals are about to take the lead in the World Series. There are 2 out, nobody on base, 1 ball, 1 strike on Jerry Adair here in the 9th inning. Never once today, here's the pitch high. Never once today does Briles know what it feels like to pitch with more than 1 man on base. The only inning they had 2 hits. 1 run scored as the other man singled. So actually there was only 1 man on base at the time. Two balls and a strike. Oh, 3. Again, he gets a 3-ball count. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 out. Jerry Adair from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Former Oklahoma State athlete, where he played under a great friend of ours, Curt and mine, Hank Ibud. Great gentleman.
Here's a fella, Harry, when he smiles, he means something. He very seldom smiles.
Strike 2 is called.
Very quiet. And a real pro this year for the Red Sox.
3 balls, 2 strikes. This could be the final pitch of this ball game. 2 out and nobody on. Cardinals are leading 5-2. Briles showing a lot of cool in his first World Series competition. This is his 100th pitch of the day. Here it is, 3-2. High pop fly. This game will be over. Mike Shannon getting under the ball. He's got it. And there's Nelly being congratulated. A fine game he pitched indeed. A 7-hitter, 2-run scored. Down Maxfield, giving him 5. As across the field he walks. And here's Lou Brock, certainly sharing the hero's laurels. And Roger Maris, number 9, talking with Brock as they walk off the field. Briles to the left. That was Phil Gagliano waiting for him. The final score, the St. Louis Cardinals, 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors. The Boston Red Sox, 2 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error.
He knocked off the truck, boss.
There must have been 500 cases. Fellas, it's as good as cold.